Hi, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about how to handle the transaction between multiple microservices. Okay, for example, okay, I have an application where I'm going to submit an order. Okay, so when I place an order, I need to make sure, okay, um, I'm going to make a payment, and upon successful payment, okay, I need to check the inventory and make sure the product is there in the inventory, and I need to uh, reduce the size of a product in the inventory. Okay, so the scenario here is, okay, I can say my order is success only if, okay, the payment goes success and I have a product in inventory, and um, I am able to get the product from the inventory. Okay, so only upon these two transactions goes good, then I can make sure, okay, my order is success. Okay, so here that is a scenario. So how we are going to handle that in the microservices world? Okay, let's say I to make sure, okay, to handle all the payment, okay, I'm having a payment microservice, and all inventory related stories I'm managing using the inventory microservice. Okay, so when I submit an order, okay, I need to make sure the payment microservice is giving me a good response that the payment is success. Okay, after making a good payment, and then I go to inventory and check, okay, if uh, I have a sufficient product. Okay, so this is the scenario. So how we are going to handle it, right? So when I say update in the payment microservice, and uh, both have their own instance of database, okay, or they are sharing the database, I need to make sure my transaction is atomic. Okay, so how I am going to handle this particular scenario? Okay, so in the microservices world, there are two ways we can handle it. One is using the two-phase commit, another one is using the saga pattern. Okay, let's see what is two-phase commit, right? Two-phase commit means we have a prepare phase and we have a commit phase. In the prepare phase, okay, we are going to prepare the statements to execute. Okay, and the commit phase, we actually commit the data. Okay, so for coordinate all these transactions, okay, we have another microservice called coordinator. Okay, so that will coordinate between the payment microservice and inventory microservice to make sure the transaction is good in both the places. Okay, so what this coordinator will do, okay, it create a transaction ID for each transaction. Okay, so it will ask the payment microservice to update a payment with all these details using this transaction ID. Okay, also it asks the inventory microservice to update the inventory. Okay, with all these details using this particular transaction ID. Okay, and the coordinator will wait for the response from the payment microservice and the inventory microservice to execute. Once they execute, okay, and if the execution is good, okay, then it will ask, okay, now you guys go and commit. Okay, and then we will be committing the data in both the payment microservice and inventory microservice. So it is a kind of a synchronous, right? Like you need to set, wait, and then it need has to commit and wait and success. So this way we can make sure, okay, the data is stored in both the microservices, right? Let's say, okay, um, coordinator is sending a data to payment and to inventory, and the inventory fails, right? So in that case, what will happen? And if the inventory is failing, okay, what will happen? Okay, so instead of commit, okay, it asks to roll back. Okay, so here we ask for a rollback. The coordinator will ask for a rollback, and instead of committing, they roll back the data and we'll be going back to the original position, and make sure like we are not committing this transaction, right? So that way we are handling the any failure in any of these transactions. Okay, so the benefit of having this model is, okay, like, yeah, we can make sure the transaction is atomic. Okay, also we are managing the read write isolation. The benefit is, okay, so it is atomic, and so we know like it is atomic, right? Like we are making sure the transaction is committed successfully in both the microservices, otherwise we are rolling back, right? Also it's a read write isolation. We can say that because only after commit we are going to allow the read, right? Well, it is basically it is a lock based. Like when I ask the payment microservice to update a payment, okay, the payment microservice, when executing the data in the database, it is going to get a lock of the particular record or particular table, right? So it will release the lock only after committing, or only after executing the transactions and returning back, right? So till that time it will be holding the lock and no others can get in and fetch the data. That is why it is called a read write isolation. Okay, so that's a benefit. Okay, the drawback is it is synchronous. So in some of the requirement we cannot wait for if there is too many of microservices, okay, and each one has its own time, okay, to commit a data, okay, and the latency will be very high for application, right? So that's a drawback. Okay, and let's assume, okay, my coordinator is getting failed. Okay, after this particular step, right, it sent a request to all the microservices and now it failed, right? So what happened? So all the microservices are already holding the lock of that particular database, right? So now since our coordinator is failing, okay, there is no way we are going to release the lock, right? So that end up with a deadlock. Okay, so that is a serious issue with the with this particular pattern. Okay, there may be we can apply a solution for this, but yeah, but these are some of the drawbacks. Okay, and we need some effect to overcome all these drawbacks. So the other pattern is called as Saga pattern. In this pattern, okay, it is a event based pattern. Okay, so someone published the event, someone listened to that event and act according to the event. Okay, so let's say, okay, this is my order microservice, this is my inventory microservice. Okay, so when I submit any transactions, okay, I'm going to the order microservice will create the order, okay, for a particular transaction. Once it successfully create the order, okay, it will send the event, okay, to a broker. Okay, so the inventory microservice, which is ascribed for that particular event, okay, keep listening to that event. Once the event is triggered, okay, it knows, okay, there is a transaction created and the order was successfully created for that event, so I want to create a inventory for that particular event. Okay, so it goes and create an event, create an inventory. Once it successfully create the inventory, okay, then it sends the status back to the broker telling like, okay, I successfully created a inventory. Okay, so the order microservice actually listening to another listener, okay, looking for an event to trigger, okay, to check whether it is getting any confirmation event from the inventory. Okay, so upon this particular event, right, the order microservice was triggered and now it knows, okay, that particular transaction was success and it goes and commit. Okay, so that way, okay, we are making sure one complete transaction is happening. Okay, let's say, okay, first scenario, my order is, when I create order, it is failing, right? When I create order, if it is failing, there is no way I'm going to create an inventory, right? So that scenario is gone. When I create order, if it is failing, I'm not going to create an inventory. Now let's say my inventory is failing, right? When the inventory is fail, okay, I will be sending a failed status. Okay, I'm not able to create an inventory because of this and this reason. Okay, I'm going to send a failed status. Once the order gets a failed status, okay, it will go and roll back the transactions. Okay, so it will go and roll back the transaction. So that way we are making sure, okay, we are taking care of committing the entire transaction. Otherwise, we are not committing any transactions. Okay, so this is how the Saga patterns work. Okay, it's a event based pattern. Okay, event listener based pattern. Okay, now the benefits, right? We know it's asynchronous. Like this is going just create, just publish, don't wait for anything, right? And this is once get create, right? And confirm the status. Upon getting the confirmation, okay, we can send a response back to the client. We are good, right? So we are not waiting. We getting all the transactions and just keep creating. Okay, so it is asynchronous and it is loosely coupled. We know, like, no one is depending on anything. Just they are just listening to a broker, but not actually depending on any transactions, right? So that is why it is called a loosely coupled. The drawback is, okay, when I have more number of microservices, right, the coordination between all these microservices based on the event is going to be more complicated, right? Yes, at some point also once I create an order, right? So if I am going to, let's say, okay, I created an order and I ask the inventory to create an inventory. At any point, a client can go and check the order status and it says it's created. But if the inventory fails, what is happening means, okay, it will be rolled back to orders after some time, right? So when that time when the client go and see, okay, the order says it's failed, right? So so there is kind of a read isolation. We are not providing any read isolation here, okay? Because since it's in asynchronous mode, okay, we are not able to guarantee the data. Okay, so we having a kind of a data reading in this case. Okay, so that is a drawbacks of the Saga pattern. Okay, so based upon how what is our requirement, we need to trade off between the synchronous or asynchronous, trade off between the data reliability. So we need to choose one of these two patterns. Hope you got it. For more discussion, please subscribe to my channel for future videos. Thank you. Bye.